Well, as you know, this parable about what salvation really was. People were probably the ones who weren't quite as healthy as these. Maybe a lot of them were probably older, wore out. They didn't meet up. They didn't meet the standards that most. But this owner says, go work in my field. I'll pay you. So they went. Now, as I said, if you kind of compare the salvation part, in any kind of Bible it says it this way, but I would say the ones that were probably in their 20s. They got saved when they were in their 20s. Because as you know, I've shared before that 80 to 85% of salvation are made between the ages of 14. The next big percent, is 15%, is from 15 to 25. After age 25, there's a 5% chance someone will make a decision for the Lord. So the ones that went back at noon and 3, they were probably in their, I'd say those would be the equivalent of somebody in their 30s. The ones at 5, the last minute ones, they were the dregs. They were the ones that got saved late in life, maybe even on their deathbed. So when you read down through verses 8 through 14, the rest of the story, you see what Jesus, how he sets the story up. So, comes time to pay, tells his foreman to pay him. And remember, the first ones, what did they agree to get paid for? 1 denarius, 1 day's work, right? I mean, that's fair. You work a day, you get paid for the day, right? That's fair. Well, Jesus flips the script. He tells his foreman, pay the ones who got hired last first. So they go up first. So they go up. By the time they left the market and got to the place, they might have worked 30 minutes maybe, 45 at the most. And the foreman hands them a denarius. They just got 1 day's wage for less than an hour's work. So as I said, you union guys, I don't know how we think, right? They just got a whole day's wage for 1 hour work. I worked 12 hours. Man, I could probably take next week off. But that's not how the story goes, is it? So when they get up there to receive their pay, what did they receive? 1 denarius. Wait, I've been here all day long. I've worked hard. In fact, I guarantee you I worked harder than those guys did. I got 1 denarius? See, are we seeing a pattern here? When we look at the first ones, and the 99s, they always think they deserve more. I mean, when you look at the parable of the prodigal son, how did the older brother who stayed, did his chores, was the good and faithful son, how did he react when the father threw a celebration party for his lost son? Was he happy for his brother? No. He was bitter. He even refused to enter into the party. He complained. Where's my fatted calf? See, we have a reoccurring theme, and we see this come true in verses 15 and 16, the key verses I was telling you about. And this is how Jesus finishes up that story. Don't I have the right to do what with my own money? Or are you envious because I'm being generous? So the last will be first, and the first will be last. See, as some of the first, because I was saved as a young kid. I was 5th grade. And my dad was a deacon of the church. So every time the doors opened, we were there. Every time there was a work day, we were there. So I was one of those first. And I've had that attitude in times. So I'm speaking from experience here. I'm not speaking at you guys. So often we become envious, and we want to be first. We deserve more. Well, that brings us to the core verse that we're talking about today, and that's in Matthew 9, 12 and 13. On hearing this, Jesus said, "It is not the healthy who need a doctor, but the sick. But go and learn what this means. I desire mercy, not sacrifice. For I have not come to call the righteous, but sinners." Okay? So once again, in this story, Jesus is hanging out with the tax collectors and the sinners. So any IRS people here today? If you were, I didn't figure you'd raise your hand anyway. So, but you're in good company. In fact, Jesus had just called one of these tax collectors to follow him. It was Matthew. So they were eating at Matthew's house with the tax collectors and the sinners. Guess who sees them? And guess who starts complaining again? The Pharisees, they distinguished themselves by having a strict observance of law and written law. Commonly felt to have a superior sanctity. Now, that's Webster's definition, not mine. So if Webster's saying that about them, what does that mean? Okay. Strict observance of tradition and written law. No change. Not allowed. We don't do that way here. Can't do it. I'm not going to do it any different. Sorry, can't do it. Who does that sound like? So again, Matthew 9, verse 12 and 13. It is not the healthy who need a doctor. When's the last time you went into and nobody had an arm in this cast? They were just there to visit. It doesn't that way, does it? They go to the doctor for. Stephanie wants to be OBGYN. Well, if everybody just comes to her office and visits, what kind of do you have? People don't pay. She's there to help people that need help. But it's not the healthy who need a doctor, but the sick. But go and learn what this means. Now, this is, have the red letter edition Bibles. This is red. So who's saying this? This is Jesus saying this. This means, I desire mercy, not sacrifice. For I come to call sinners. Goodness, right? Because I was one of those sinners. I change. Because I was going to hell. Think of your friends and family. Change. Because their pathway is to hell. Because if to bring them in, that's where they go. God did not call us to get a congregation to come and have fun and fellowship without the purpose in. that Jesus is making a reference. When I was younger, I had. Well, Jesus is the Old Testament. Yet. So the Old Testament, right? So even in this verse I just read to you, he referenced an Old Testament verse. Okay? And this is out of Hosea, verse 6. In that section of the passages, it's actually titled Repentant. What it says. I desire mercy, not sacrifice. Acknowledgement of God rather than burnt offerings. What do you mean by that? See, mercy, our undeserved forgiveness, versus sacrifice. Just doing. We're having a fellowship dinner tonight. And I challenge you, let's not just go through the motions. Show up, invite people. Just because you invite, they may not come. But if you don't invite, I guarantee you they won't come. And the reason why, if we have fun and fellowship, if we know how fun it is to come together and serve God, if we show them what God's love means to us, aren't bought into what this church's mission is. We have to participate, even if it's inconvenient sometimes. Oh my, there's that uncomfortable word again. Sometimes we have to become uncomfortable to do the things that God wants us to do. High school, if someone told me you're going to be a youth pastor and you have to stand up in front of people and talk, I would have laughed. There's no way. When I went to college, I was going to college to be a teacher. I purposely avoided classes. Talk one-on-one, no problem. But God made me uncomfortable. He made me I wasn't, in my mind, capable of doing. But see, that's the thing. Is it us that's reaching people? God through us reaching people. So, let's not be the ones who show up, pay our tithe, shake a few hands, and then say, see you next Sunday. See, I see that all the time in, through business. Used to go to church with. Well, they act one way on Sunday, totally different during the week. Who wants to follow that? So don't be those. Don't be the 9 who pat themselves. Sheep am I. Be the one that repents. And if you have done that, awesome. Because remember, repent means a turning.
It is what will take forward. It's what will make this church be the light on the hill to the community around us. If that means instead of standing in the church greeting people, we actually go to the doors or outside even. We started a golf cart ministry down there. What's the big deal? We're just picking up people in the parking lot. We for a while, even when we start back, social distancing, we didn't start the golf cart ministry back up. You would be amazed how many people come and said, I missed the golf cart ministry. It was fun having you guys pick. You have 5 minutes to make that person feel comfortable. 5 minutes. And they've made up their mind whether they like this church or not. They hadn't heard Pastor Steve yet. They hadn't even heard the praise team yet. Within 5 minutes. Let's our comfort zone. Let's meet people where they need to be met at, whether it's in the parking lot, whether it's in a restaurant, whether it's in
Would you all stand with me for our closing? Just play that line. Play one line and go into it. Lord, I lift your name. Lord, I love to sing your praises. I'm so glad you're in my life. I'm so glad you came to save us. You came from heaven to earth to show the way, from the earth to the cross, my debt to pay. From the cross to the grave, from the grave to the sky, Lord, I lift your name on high. Lord, I lift your name on high. Lord, I love to sing your praises. I'm so glad you're in my life. I'm so glad you came to save us. You came from heaven to earth to show the way, from the earth to the cross, my debt to pay. From the cross to the grave to the sky, Lord, I lift your name on high. Lord, I lift your name on high. Lord, I lift your name on high.
Please join me in closing prayer.